Good evening. Do you know where your children are playing during the summer holidays? Well, one group of teenagers have been pictured dangling their legs 100 feet in the air at the top of a crane in Southampton. They jumped over hoardings and climbed a crane at Centenary Quay in Woolston. Tonight, security is being reviewed as the council warns you're risking your lives. Gary Swain reports.
The teenager in the top left of this picture doesn't even appear to be holding on as he balances on a narrow metal girder 100 feet above a building site. Another sits with his legs casually dangling, boys as young as 14 clearly showing off to each other, a slip away from death. Almost certainly a copycat stunt. Hours earlier, this film was posted online, a group of older youths climbing the same crane in the Woolston district of Southampton. Their giddying view from the top, laughing at being caught by the police. Led by Ali Law, infamous in the city for his dangerous escapades.
I don't feel responsible. Maybe they saw my video and maybe that's why they've done it, I'm not sure. If they're just copying and they're going straight for it with no training, when they're just going straight up the crane, I'd say that's fine, it's just ladders. But when they're like at the top and then there's open ledges and stuff, you've got to be aware, you can't just go straight into it. You've got to practice up to it.
We spotted a workman in safety clothing carefully climbing the crane today to a terrifying height. No one could survive this fall. People living nearby horrified.
If some accident takes place, the parents are going to lose their children and the children are going to be at loss themselves.
It must have been quite exciting, but crazy, of course. You know, it's so easy for them to fall and hurt themselves.
Dangerous, isn't it? I mean, it's frightening, really, if they're that daring to go to the top.
I think the key message is that it's not big and it's not clever. The minute that you start free climbing, at best you're going to end up a fool, at the very worst a fatality.
No one from the construction company Crest Nicholson wanted to speak to us today. In a statement they said, "On-site safety and security is our #1 priority, and we are already undertaking a full review of our security procedures on site." But so-called free running or urban exploring is hard to stop. 3 years ago, James Kingston filmed himself at the top of a 330-foot crane above Ocean Village in Southampton. He was later arrested for climbing the Eiffel Tower. Hampshire police say it's concerning that this has become a popular activity. They say vacant buildings and construction sites are full of hazards and parents should remind their children of the dangers. Kerry Swain, ITV News.
A senior nurse who stole a Rolex watch from a patient at a hospital in West Sussex has been given a suspended sentence. Joseph Miller stole the family heirloom at St Richard's Hospital in Chichester. The watch, worth £5,000, belonged to David Davis, who died in hospital. Miller was fined £7,500. A man who died after being struck by a train when he put his head out of a window has been named. 24-year-old Simon Brown from East Grinstead suffered serious head injuries after being hit by an oncoming train on Sunday evening. He was travelling on the Gatwick Express. A murder investigation's begun after a man in his 50s was found dead in Worthing. Police were called to Osmond's Close in Broadwater just after midday. A body was found lying inside the house and police had to break in to gain access. Today was, of course, day 2 of the strike by Southern rail workers, with commuters across our region the hardest hit. But thousands of passengers decided to stay at home, with just 60% of the rail firm's services operating. Andy Dickinson reports.
Jo Tuck from Worthing is disabled and travelling to London this morning for an annual hospital appointment. If she misses it, she may have to wait 6 months for a rescheduled date. So despite the strikes, she's braving the trains.
It just adds to the anxiety, adds to the frustration. I was worried that there wouldn't be any trains at all, but I was very pleased to see that there were some trains running. I was concerned that it'd be very busy, but as you can see, it's not proven to be too busy. And I was also worried about the delays and not getting to the appointment on time, so I've allowed extra time to get to my appointment today.
But having at least a train to board, Jo could be one of the lucky ones. The town of Uckfield, like so many in our region, whose station has been closed entirely.
Everyone is absolutely exasperated and frustrated. because we don't even have a replacement bus service here. I'd appeal to the actual rail workers. Come back to work, please come back to work. The people need you. I know people are being kicked up, they're hitchhiking to get to stations on the South Eastern network. That's not safe.
With her usual route curtailed, Jo has to change at Brighton, while back in her hometown, commuters vent their anger and thousands more stay at home to avoid the chaos amid fears for business and tourism.
I've got one colleague in Hayward Heath, and I genuinely have to say at the end of the day, good luck if you can get into work tomorrow, you know.
It's a disgrace. Whoever is to blame, the two sides should have their heads banged together.
My anxiety is slowly going, although until I get back to Worthing this afternoon, I will still be a little bit anxious about my return journey.
Throughout the day, both the RMT Union and Southern Rail owners Govia Thameslink called for fresh talks. Southern saying that 1 in 5 conductors worked during yesterday's strikes. Jo made her appointment, but with no services back to Worthing after 6:30 tonight, she was left hoping she'd be able to get home. Andy Dickinson, ITV News.
Well, the Transport Secretary, Chris Grayling, has been quiet on the matter over the last few days, indeed since the strike started. But he broke his silence this afternoon. This is what he had to say.
It's not for me to tell the management of this line and the unions exactly how to do their job. We are funding new trains, we're funding modernisation across the whole rail network. There are new stations opening, there are new lines opening, there are new trains being delivered across the country. I want a modern railway that's good for passengers. I don't want trade unions messing up passengers' lives by striking unnecessarily. There are no jobs at risk. There's no money at risk. This is all about unions jockeying for position. That should not be happening.
Cows Week is off to a fantastic start with 800 boats and 8,000 sailors on the water. And the weather's been spectacular too, with sunshine and, more importantly, good winds. Our reporter Sally Simmons was there.
Hazel's on the winch. Emma rushes back to do the spinnaker pole. Wait on the rail to keep the boat level. With a complete mix of experience, but under Sue's calm guidance, the crew of the Sirens are racing. This boat's mission is to make sure everyone works hard and therefore learns.
You will get pushed to your absolute maximum, and this is not about just going out for a sail. We want people to come on and absolutely give everything that they've got, because the only way a team on the water like this works is by everyone on the boat doing that.
I'm fairly new to big boat racing. I only joined the Sirens for the first time in April in 2015, and frankly I was terrified that I would not be up to it, that I would let the team down, but they made me incredibly welcome, coached me really hard, cut me absolutely no slack, and I'm completely hooked.
Absolutely true. There's no mucking about on this boat. Full on, full on. The Sirens have a pool of about 70 sailors, all ages, all walks of life. Star of Strictly Come Dancing Series 2 Hazel says ballroom and the boat have a lot in common.
Actually, it's very much connected with dancing. A real team effort, coordination, strength, endurance, but yeah, sailing, especially this week. This has been the hardest week I've ever done. Sorry dancing, but yeah, sailing wins on that front.
Men are more than welcome aboard this Reflex 38, but not on Ladies' Day.
Sally Simmons with that report. On to football now. And there were mixed fortunes for our teams in the first round of the Football League Cup. Brighton beat Colchester 4-0 with 2 goals in the second half from Jamie Murphy. Portsmouth lost to Coventry 3-2 after extra time, and Crawley lost to Wolves 2-1. Weather time now with Simon.
From cold fronts to camping, driving through Europe, Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Good evening. Well, last night temperatures got down to 4.5 degrees at Benson in Oxfordshire. That's pretty cold for this point in August. Tonight, not quite so nippy, but again, we're dipping down into single figures in the rural spots, 11 or 12 in our towns and cities. And that's because there's, well, a bit more in the way of cloud around, and that will make for, well, a fairly decent start tomorrow, but it's bright or sunny spells rather than wall-to-wall blue sky. As we head through the day, a bit more cloud come the afternoon and a chance of 1 or 2 showers cropping up, but they'll be fairly light and should blow through on that west-northwesterly breeze, but another cooler day with highs of 19 or 20.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Well, at least the morning will be sunny. And talking of mornings, we'll be back during Good Morning Britain from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. But from all of us here on the Late Team, thanks for watching. Good night.